Hello, it's another it's another week. And this week we're gonna be looking on the market breakdown for the coming week, which gonna be starting on the 5th of August and gonna end on the 9th of August. So the first pair which you're gonna be looking at is ZAUUSD. And on ZAUUSD, we're going to be looking for the bearish direction, and the reason behind as we are the consolidation, like a rectangle, but still we are in the structure of the first shoulder. This is almost estimating as this is going to be the head, so we expected to see the pullback, the second shoulder, then we have the movement down toward this area. Where do we get our entry? Our entry confirmation will be here, and if we miss that entry, we wait for a good retest of the break and retest of this trend line, and our target area is this one. This is ZAUUSD and this is H4 time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on is CAD. On CAD for the coming week, you're going to be looking for a bullish direction. The reason behind, we have reached to a certain point where there is a trend line, so we will have a little pullback. Then from there we will see a bullish entry so that we can enter moving toward that direction. This is CAD and this is H4 time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on for the coming week, apart from CAD, is EURs JPY. And for EURs JPY, we're going to be having a little bearish direction. Then from there, we'll be having a little pullback toward that area. So our entry confirmation will be at this area. The reason behind for us to have an entry there, when we move back to daily, we can see we have reached to a certain point where there is a trend line, a big uptrend. This is EURs JPY and this is daily time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on is CHF JPY. And on CHF JPY, when we go back to H4, we're going to be waiting for a pullback because there is this trend line which has been broken. So after a good pullback, we get our entry, and our targeted area, let us view it in daily time frame. Our targeted area is this one. The reason behind it, there is a strategy which is called weak filling strategy. So the market is trying to fill this week at this area. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on apart from CHF JPY, another pair which you're going to be focusing on is EURs JPY. And for EURs JPY, you're going to be having a bearish direction. The reason behind is because there was a trend line which was broken. Now we are anticipating that price will continue dropping down. This is daily time frame. Let us move to weekly time frame so that you can see the target. Yeah, this is our target. We'll be moving toward this zone here. There is like a very big support or resistance at that area. So where do we get our entry? When we go back to H4 time frame, we will wait for a good pullback toward this area is when we get our entry. Then we move down with it. This is EURs JPY and this is H4 time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on apart from EURs JPY is GBP JPY. For GBP JPY, we're going to be having a bearish direction. The reason behind is because it has broken a big support or resistance. So we will wait for a pullback toward that area. Then it's when we get our entry moving down. Where do we target for our take profit? Let us move to daily time frame. Yeah, in daily time frame, we can see the view. There is a support or resistance at this area here is what we are targeting for the coming week. This is EURs JPY and this is daily time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on is NZD JPY. And for NZD JPY, let's move to weekly so that you can see first the target. The target will continue moving down because there is an uptrend which has broken and that has a good pullback. So we're anticipating that price will continue dropping. And when we move to H4 time frame is when we'll be getting our entry. So we'll wait for a good pull. Where the market will go toward this direction, then we'll make a pullback toward this area. It's when we get our entry, continue moving down toward our targeted area. This is NZD JPY and this is H4 time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on is USD JPY. And on USD JPY, we have seen market has been consolidating at this area for a long period of time. Now it's time that it has breached out this support or resistance. So we are waiting for a good pullback. Then from there we get our entry toward the targeted area. Where is the targeted area? Let us move to daily so that you can see. We'll be targeting this area because there is an uptrend trend line. After that, we'll be observing either if we breach out, we will reach toward this area, but if we will not breach out, we will pull back toward that area. But for the coming week, it's just targeting that small area. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on apart from USD JPY is CAD JPY. And about CAD JPY for the coming week, you're going to be having the bearish direction. The reason behind is because there is the market has reached to a trend line and has touched it twice. Now it's time for it to continue dropping down. When you go back to H4, we can see there was a breach out of this trend line. Now we are waiting for a breach out of this support or resistance. After a good retest on this support or resistance, we get our entry from that area toward our targeted area, which we have seen it in day one. This is CAD JPY and this is H4 time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on is Euro AUD. And for Euro AUD for the coming week, when you go back to daily, we'll be looking for a bullish direction. The reason behind, because there is a continuation of an uptrend. Now we can see that price has reached to a certain area, which we are waiting for a good pullback, then we will move toward that area. Where do we get our entry? When you go back to H4, we'll be waiting for a clear breach out of this support or resistance. And a good retest, then we move up with it. This is Euro AUD and this is H4 time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on for the coming week is Euro USD. For Euro USD, when you go back to daily, we can see a good view. As you can see, market has tried. Market will be looking for this trend line here. For this trend line here. So we're anticipating that price will come down toward this targeted area, and this area is when we get our entry for a bullish, then moving with it toward that area. When you go back to H4, we can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is Euro USD and this is H4 time frame. H4 time frame is not clearly understood because the graph is a little bit hectic, but that is not a problem. Yeah. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on apart from Euro USD is Euro CAD. And for Euro CAD for the coming week, we're going to be having a bullish direction. The reason behind is because the market has tried to consolidate for a long period of time now. It has reached out this trend line and it has given us a good pullback. Now we're anticipating that it will continue moving up toward that targeted area. When you go back to daily, you can see the market is still moving within a wedge. That is the reason we will continue moving up with it. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on apart from Euro CAD is Euro Chase. And for Euro Chase, you're going to be having a bearish direction. As you can see, there is a clear breach out of this support resistance on this area. So we wait for a good pullback. Then from there, we're going to be moving down toward this targeted area. The entry which you're going to be looking at is going to be located at this zone here. This is Euro Chase and this is daily time frame. And then we move to H4. Where do we get our entry? After a good pullback at this area, is going to get our entry this area. And our targeted area, let us move to weekly. Yeah, our targeted area is this zone here. So a good pullback is made, then our targeted area is that one. This is Euro Chase and this is weekly time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on apart from Euro Chase is Euro GBP. For Euro GBP, when you go back to H4, we can see a good, like a double top formation. This signifies that as we have the first shoulder, this might be our head, and we'll have the second shoulder, then we move down with it. So for the coming week, you're going to be looking for a selling opportunity at that area, and when you fail to get an entry there, we'll wait for a clear breakout and a good retest, then you get a second entry toward our targeted area. But the movement for coming week is that it will make just this one move and this second move. But if it continue moving down, you grab your entry and you make some pips. This is Euro GBP and this is H4 time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on is Euro NZ. For Euro NZ, we just have to grab some small pips. As you can see, we are the first shoulder. This is the head, and we successfully made a second shoulder at this area. So we're anticipating that we move towards that targeted area. So for the coming week, where do we get our entry? After a clear breach out of this trend line and a good retest, then we drive toward that targeted area. This is the last pair. For those who need account management training and mentorship, signal service, you can contact us through the description at the bottom. And for those who need account management, contact us. And also, don't forget to subscribe in our YouTube channel, switch on post notification, and also don't forget to join our Telegram channel for more reviews. Happy paper chasing week, traders.